Can we talk about this game for a minute, my space nerds? Star Wars Zero Company, we looked at it earlier this year as a Star Wars themed XCom, essentially. And it has completely met that. From what I'm seeing in these reviews, the hands-on have gone out recently. So we have plenty of people who are more Star Wars focused gaming creators and publications that are being able to test this game out and see what it's like. I'm hearing a lot of, obviously, as you could see, comparisons to XCOM, comparisons to Midnight Suns, but also comparisons to some RPGs, like action adventure games. Generally, you would look at these games and you get a lot of this kind of like top-down sort of strategy gameplay, right? Where you have to pick the moves for everybody and then they play them on a turn-based system. But this game goes so deep in the storytelling, in the actual exploration, in the dialogue. The writing is good. The atmosphere is good. This is a genuinely good Star Wars game, and it's a strategy game. I'm gonna let Skillup talk about it a little bit here. He's got a great review. I might link it down below. I'm not gonna watch this whole thing with you. We'll go into the articles, but just listen to how he's talking about this for a bit.
All of that is on the table. And to cap all of this off, it just feels like a really great Star Wars story. It's tropey in the sense that it's Star Wars and we know the general contours of a Star Wars story, but it's hitting those beats while also serving up things I wasn't expecting, like some new factions to work with or against, as well as a finely balanced tone that feels adult without being too dark. The team say they were inspired by both the Clone Wars animated show and Andor in terms of how they were shaping the story, and you can totally feel that in the finished product. The Jedi games had a sense of swashbuckling adventure with a really strong emotional core. Zero Company feels more like a smartly buttoned up spy thriller full of intrigue and high stakes, and so far I'm really loving it.
Honestly, that does sound like it dips a little bit more into what made Andor really nice as a show. And I do think that, so one of the cool things I'm seeing is the Spider-Man game has seen a sales boom. Their sales have skyrocketed because of the movie releasing. The movie, by the way, looking like it might be the first domestic movie to hit $1 billion. It's insane, dude. People love the Spidey. So this has been an interesting story to follow, because like the movie comes out and then you see, if you have a good game that follows the movie, cross-platform promotion is huge now with the way that they can create quality content both ways. So like, it would be really, really nice to see this kind of taking some inspiration from Andor and proving out the approach to the Star Wars world that we're seeing from Andor, from what they wanted to do in Star Wars 1313, even from a little bit of Republic Commando, which, you know, like the Clone Wars were kind of dirty. It feels like we could see a little bit of a domino effect with Star Wars here if they keep following what is clearly working for them. Let me read out a little bit from this PC Gamer article of how the game was playing for them. He's talking about how the game works, and he says, "When it works, oh boy it works. In one mission, my squad was surrounded and outnumbered. My troops were in good positions though, so I thought I'd be able to chip away at the enemy numbers, and then a series of shots with 80 to 90% chances to hit missed." It is how these games play too. You set everything up, you do the strategy, you're all good, you take the shot, 95% chance headshot, and then you lose. Yeah, I've lost a lot of games like that. In this and in Civ. Not in this, but in other strategy games. "I was screaming at the RNG gods," he said. "Why would they do me dirty like this? After the enemy turn, every member of my squad had taken a battering, but it wasn't over. I had tricks up my sleeve, most notably some abilities that gave my squad extra points and free shots. My next turn was going to be my time to shine." This, dude, your team taking a battering is actually huge, because your teammates can die in this game. Like, they can die and no longer be in the game, and it will change your story. Straight up Mass Effect kind of stuff. Like this really treads into RPG territory. There's also a character customizer. It's not that deep, But I did see, yeah, you can customize your character somewhat here.
Impressive character creation tool that lets you customize the species, features, attire, and class of your Hawks. It's surprisingly robust, and I actually spent quite a bit of time in here, whereas I typically just skip straight over this stuff. One limitation though is that there are only 2 voices, male and female, and they both have a very specific personality attached to them. They are grizzled, cynical, tired combat veterans who've seen and done it all. There's no bright, chipper, optimistic voice, no nerdy science guy voice, no officious Republic bureaucrat voice. This naturally limits the role-playing potential of Zero Company, but the upside...
And here's an example of the writing.
Reactor are playing all the hits here, but they're the hits for a reason, and Zero Company's story quickly positions itself as a classic medley that we're more than happy to sing along to.
Can't keep working like this.
If this about the refresher, Cab said it wasn't his fault, but he won't do it again.
What? No, this is about money. Rent is due and our last 2 clients skipped out on us.
We just wrapped up the Sarah Lonis job.
Well, even when they pay up, it won't cover 1/3 of our debt to the Huts. I told you it was extortion and you were all, oh, desperate times, Rue. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. Now they are even more desperate.
So right off the
I think it's already looking better than some of the space games we have seen this year in terms of the dialogue. I don't need to name names. Y'all have been here. And I think the combination of a good story and the fact that you can like lose members and change the whole way the game plays out for you, there's a lot of consequence here. Now, continuing on with what he was saying here, he said, once I was in control again, I activated a backup ability, so when my clone buddy trick fired at a separatist, one of his comrades followed it up with a free attack of their own. Some deft repositioning also allowed one of my crew to get behind the enemy front line, so he didn't have to worry about shooting goons hiding behind cover. But then I had a better idea in the form of a cover-destroying, bone-crushing grenade. Things were looking up. My leader ability also meant I could dole out an extra action point to someone, which I gifted to the beefiest member of the crew, who then charged at a separatist and beat him to death. I'd prepared for the next enemy turn too by holding back one member of my squad in the previous turn. Instead of attacking, I taunted a big group of enemies and activated his retaliation ability. This meant that 4 enemies would exclusively target him, and every time they shot at him, he'd immediately shoot back. Damn, that's actually pretty nice. By the time enemy reinforcements arrived, we'd cleaned up. They walked through the door into the combat area, only to be greeted by 3 Overwatch clones. Zero Company eschews XCom's omnidirectional Overwatch, which feels restrictive but appropriately tactical. Anyway, separatists were goners. And the way that they work the combat in is like the rest of the game plays out like a normal game where you're just like in these sort of third person situations where you're talking and exploring and like moving throughout the game. It's only when you get into an actual combat environment they bring you into this mode. So a lot of the game plays like a normal action adventure game, and I think that's interesting. There's a lot more to this that I think is pretty exciting. I won't get super deep into. I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at this because every time we take a look at this game, it is looking better and better. It's coming out next month, I believe. Let me see. Let me just confirm that for you. August 27th is coming out this month. I think it's worth looking into. This was for you Star Wars fans. Judging by how people have been chatting with me on Twitter lately, you can probably imagine Bit Reactor is paying me to talk about this. If you want to see more coverage of games like this, though, we are talking about more space games here on the channel. So stick around. Keep an eye out.